So this is our relationship. Holly buys cannabis everywhere. You're living in Chicago, for those listening, and I'm in Nevada. So we can't shop together. And you just buy hundreds of dollars worth of product.
Yes.
And then you take an image of them. So if you're out there listening, this is not how to do this. You take an image, and then I tell you what to do, and then you don't.
Okay. Well, that was one time, everyone. And yes.
But these are the stories I live for on this
Yes,
show. This was an
yes.
RSO because
Yes.
you were in. And I really do want to get to the number of surgeries you had, so I'm not minimizing that. No. But there was an RSO that I recommended, which was a great choice on my part.
Correct. But I believe they sold me the wrong one, though. It's not all my fault.
Sure
I
they
think
did.
In retrospect, it was the wrong strain. And they said to take the size of a piece
grain
of
of rice,
which I did. And then
big rice. You did
I
big
was
rice.
tripping off of tripping. I couldn't even see. I was like that joke where you're like calling 911 going,
happens.
I
think I'm dying. I think we're dead.
I think I'm dead.
I think we're dead.
And I call you and you're like, will you just surrender? And I'm like, drool's coming down my face. Holly, you're fine.
You have to breathe.
I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm not fine. I think I'm dead.
I know.
Holly.
You really did.
Holly.
You called me while you thought you were dead.
I called you at least 10 times.
Legit. Yeah.
And you were legit yelling at me.
I was. You didn't
Calm
surrender.
down,
I still think you were fighting it to this day.
No, I was not fighting it.
Okay.
I was stoned out of my mind.
So how much did you take? Was it just 1 grain of rice? You got to listen to the instructions.
It might have been 1.5 grains of rice.
There we go.
But when I took
for the
it back
record,
to
this
the
is the first time you've
dispensary-
admitted this.
Well, all right. Okay. Maybe 2 grains. But I'm just saying, I went to the dispensary and they admitted that they had sold me the wrong one.
Okay, so
So
maybe they sold you a sativa. I get that. So those
Correct.
terps kind of
Correct.
Yeah.
So
You're not
know
a sativa
now,
girl.
I got enough in my brain going on
Correct.
that I don't want anything to violate that
Right.
at all.
You were violated by
I was
cannabis.
violated.
I understand.
And that scared the
I know.
heck out of me.
Yeah. Until the next day.
Well, until because of course it was all your fault. But then once
how it is.
once I realized it was the dispensary's fault.
I went from expert to being all my fault.
Indeed,
I love that.
Indeed. Well, yeah, the surrender where I'm like literally like panting and so scared.
know, I'm sorry.
How am I going to explain this to my kids? And then I realized I only wanted Indica,
Yeah, of course.
and I learned from you how to use it,
Yeah.
when to use it,
yeah.
and again, like you had said, how many surgeries? I'll throw it out there.
Yeah.
8 of them in 6 years now.
8 surgeries in
8
6
surgeries.
years.
And the days that I saw no light,
Yeah.
I found some light through cannabis.
Wow. On the days that I saw no light, I found some light through cannabis. I thoroughly appreciate that, Hal. Yeah, thank you. So, okay, is there anything else about your funny stories with cannabis? So you didn't do it at all after you gave up the Mentos box. You put that old J away. You got married and had all the kids, but
Oh,
there was no
gosh.
cannabis in your life
All
then.
right, I'm lying. There was.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm remembering.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So there might have been a little bit of a past that my kids now know because I put it in my book.
Okay.
Okay. And maybe I modeled
How?
lingerie.
What is the name of your?
Maybe I modeled lingerie in bars when I
Okay.
was 18.
Okay.
Paid very well.
I'm not mad about it.
And
Yeah.
and my mother even dropped me off. Okay. So she clearly
Bread
knew
is
what
bread.
I was doing.
Bread is bread.
Okay. So in order for me to take myself into that club to wear lingerie, I smoked a little in the car. But it was the same blunt that had dried up from 3 years ago.
Of course, you pulled out the Mentos box. You decided to take a hit.
So
yeah, I see where
clearly
this is
it did
going.
nothing. It was more of
I don't know. How'd you feel?
I needed it.
Was
Well,
there a poll?
there-
Was there a poll?
I did it. I made some good money. I
Wait,
sold
just to
lingerie.
clarify, were you modeling lingerie or were you stripping? I just want to because I think you're trying to
No,
say it.
I was not a
nice.
stripper.
Okay.
I was not.
You would have made more. You'd have made
I
more
could
money.
have.
Okay.
I could have.
Okay.
No, there was one time that my top was see-through.
Understood.
And I decided to put toilet paper in there.
Of course. That's what
And
every grown woman does.
I got in trouble.
Of course.
And then I quit.
Okay. That's how it
Okay.
ended.
But yes, I did. I forgot all about that cannabis that
You're
I
welcome.
had that I'd smoke and blow it out the window of my
Okay.
house. And then I went and and I sold lingerie. Okay. But my kids know that now, so there's no
Sure.
secrets.
What's the name of your book, Hal?
I am who I am.
And can you tell us where that came from?
Absolutely. When my 5th child was born with Down syndrome, the doctors and the nurses said they were sorry for his birth. And I had
And what year?
learned
How old is he now?
he's
Just
19.
okay.
He was born
So
in 2002.
yeah,
And that's a whole other talk
of
show for
course,
you
of
and I
course.
about
Yeah,
kids with special needs that
yeah.
benefit from cannabis is gigantic.
Well,
It's a
I do think that
gigantic
is another.
story.
Yeah, I think that I don't have enough knowledge, but if you
Right.
do, we can certainly tap into that because I think
Yes.
cannabis is a healer. So
Yes.
mhm.
And again, and I'm going to open up Pandora's box by
Yeah.
saying that children with autism benefit from indica
Mm-hmm.
because when they go out and they're overstimulated,
Mm-hmm.
I might have to some friends given a little bit of some chocolate
Sure.
for their children.
Okay.
And they said, this is the first time we've been able to
Yeah.
go out for dinner with my son
Wow.
from cannabis.
Isn't that
So
something?
again, a whole untapped
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. No one's judging you helping a family. I
Oh
mean, that's a whole,
no,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? Yeah.
yeah. But so I am who I am came from the fact that we're all trying to be,
Mm-hmm.
and we're all trying to be the best version of ourselves. And when people were so sorry for Nate's birth, I realized that God made us who we are. I am who I am, and that should be celebrated.
Right.
It should not be apologized for.
Sure.
So with that story, I included the breast cancer. I included the struggles of raising 5 children. I might have forgotten the lingerie modeling. I'm not quite sure.
It's out now. It's out now,
It's
and
out
that's all
now,
that
and
matters.
that's fine. That's fine. I'm proud and loud. And so I am who I am is just a way of life.
Yeah.
Just to appreciate who you are. And
Sure.
if you're not happy with what or who you are, you're not a tree, move.
Right.
And keep it going.
Right.
And
I love that.
reinvent.
Let me ask you a question. So when they said they're sorry, what did that mean? Like,
To me,
yeah.
it meant that this was before I saw him. So remember, I had 4 other
Oh,
children.
okay,
I
right.
knew what birth was going to be like.
Sure.
So the doctors and the nurses turned to me and said, "We're so sorry." And I was afraid to see him and to look at him because I assumed sorry meant he was frightening
Oh, wow.
or that he might not be alive. Those were the first thoughts as a
Of
mother.
course.
And then when I saw him, and it took about 2 minutes for me to get the courage for them to come over with him, I looked at him and he looked just like every other baby.
Oh.
And I promised him, and I whispered in Nathaniel's ear, no one will ever say sorry about you
Wow.
again.
Oh. Welcome to the future of cannabis. My name is Gia. I'll be your tour guide.